So I made this, and I was pretty proud of it, because it was the fastest and best working project that I've done so far. But it just didn't have the feel of a true weapon of a god. So I upgraded it, and I made this. It is 10 ounces of styrofoam, PVC, 3D printed end caps, all finished nicely with a leather handle. Now what's so special? You've seen lots of people make decorative hammers. But have you seen one that can do this?
If you would like to see the full video of Mjolnir in action, check out the link in the description below. Now that you've seen it, of course you have to have your own. So let's show you how to make it. In this video, I will be going in depth on more complicated parts of this build. Use the link in the description for more general instructions on my Instructables account. Make sure the key reel is snug in the slot and is supported on all sides by the pipe. This will be important for smooth throw and catch later on. Now, the key reel that you see in the video is not the same one that we ended up using. This is because it is the same kind as what we used in the original 5-ounce hammer. And while you might think that an extra 5 ounces is not a big problem, trust me, it is. There may have been an event where I was showing my new toy to Mom in the living room. I throw Mjolnir across the room towards the breakable items on the piano. It hits the end of the string breaks, and it falls straight to the floor. So I got a bigger key reel with a steel cable. Problem solved, right? More about that later. Wrap the belt around the pipe with the first belt hole lined up close to the bottom of the slot. Then, at the top, draw a line around it so that when the line is cut, you have a straight edge circling the pipe. Should end up looking something like this. Moving on to the head, we need to cut the pink insulation foam to size. I used a radial arm saw for this. As you can see, it leaves a nice cut with square edges. After the pieces are cut and glued together like this, it's time to add the chamfers. First, draw lines 1 inch from the small faces. Next, draw lines on the small face a ½ inch from the edge. It may be handy to connect those lines with a line like this. Now you're ready to cut. Have a friend watch the opposite line as you cut to let you know if you're cutting too deep on that side. After the main cut, trim up whatever's left. I then used an orbital sander with 240 grit sandpaper, and this is how it turned out. When sanding, be sure not to round the edges. When you've added all the detail lines, it's time to paint. If you are using spray paint that dissolves foam, be sure to cover it with acrylic paint first, and not concentrate the spray in one spot, or this will happen. So earlier, I said that I had to get a heavy-duty key reel to handle the weight of this hammer. I'll just show you the video and let you spot what happened. Let's just say things did not go quite as planned. Who would have thought that key reels were not designed for this use case? The crimp that was retaining the cable pulled off. So, I carefully pried the case open. It would be good to wear safety glasses for this part, because the spring could be very uncontrollable. I then removed the spring and cut the end off of one of these picture hangers and bent it to the shape of the inside of the spool for the cable. I then reversed the direction of the cable, taking it out of the other end that would clip to your wrist, and put the steel ball on the inside of the spool. I then used a hose clamp to compress the spring back down so that it would fit inside the spool again, then clipped in the outside of the spring back onto the part where it attaches to the spool, and then had to wrap it on the inside to get it to finally fit around the new steel ball that's on the inside. You then run the cable through the metal ring that attaches to the case, and then thread it through the clip that goes on your wrist. Once you have it threaded through everything, you need to tie a knot in the cable close to the end, but far enough away that it hopefully won't pull through. After adding the slot, you need to carefully add a hole in the PVC just big enough to put a wire through. Then drill out these holes in the key reel. Now thread wire in all these holes to secure the key reel to the handle. You can add some hot glue at this point, but I would not trust only the hot glue to hold it together. A clip might be a good idea to keep the cable from coming off your wrist. And finally, for the outfit, it should look something like this. Or, if you don't like that, this also works. Roll the ends of the base cardboard so that it will fit your body better, but keep the front of the cardboard flat for attaching the armor. Use a screwdriver to put holes in the base for the laces. The laces on the back should look like this. Use a pumpkin carving wheel like this to trace the line from the prints onto the cardboard. Be sure before painting to tape off the areas where the armor will be glued if you're using hot glue. Hot glue does not stick to spray paint. Don't make the same mistake we did and have to sand off the paint. To find the armor and boot patterns I used during this build, refer to the Mjolnir build manual included on the Instructables page. I hope you've enjoyed this video and have fun making your own Mjolnir.